Good afternoon, VV Nation. Happy Wednesday, everybody. If you can see me, if you can hear me, put a VV in the comment section. Bill says, Ryan, do you trust the economic numbers? Well, Bill, that's a good question. That's the numbers we got to work with. That's how I'll respond to that. It's the numbers we got to work with. But yeah, you're right. We've seen some crazy revisions. At least, I remember a couple in the last few years. All right, good now. Perfect. I got Clay in the background today. Big help today. Joey is off today, and I know Joey and Clay, they'll be in and out over the next 2 weeks with the holidays. So I will be running the show sometimes by myself. Hopefully, it'll be a smooth operation, right? AFOX says, great video last night. Thank you, AFOX. I appreciate that. Hey, I figured I'd start with the stocks that me and Glenn agreed on. Right. And, Netflix, phenomenal. Micron, after the earnings yesterday, if you're holding Micron, I know you're happy. Up 12% right now. Let's see, Ryan. Ryan. With Micron so high today, I'm thinking of selling and buying back, assuming it will drop later today or tomorrow. Crazy idea or good? Phyllis, it's crazy you say that. Because tonight's video, as I mentioned yesterday, we were going to introduce the rest of Glenn's stocks, obviously. But in addition to that, I actually entered some positions today. And don't enter any positions just because I said that. The rules of this portfolio is I got Glenn stocks, I got mine stocks, just keep it easy, even position sizes throughout those stocks. But I'm going to help Glenn, he's not here, but I'm going to help fill these positions. Everything must be filled by the end of the second week in January. Again, these are 2026 picks, right? So I don't want to just, pick them all willy-nilly, but the positions have to be filled, and we're going to track the performance of these two portfolios throughout the year. So just as an example here, I'm not going to show you too much. Tonight's presentation will really introduce Glenn's picks and all that good stuff. But we got them here. Oh, wait, you can see. Oh, no, never mind. Boo-boo. There you go. There's mine. So you got a little teaser there. You got Glenn's picks. But I've entered some of those positions today, but again, all of these positions need to be filled within the next 3 weeks here. All right, let me clear this one. Scroll down. I won MU call based on VV inputs. Thanks, Ryan. You're welcome, Ollie G. VectorVest. These indicators, I didn't start this. I didn't even start the channel. Glenn and Clay and Joey are long before I got here, and these indicators were long before any of us were here. Actually, I think they were founded maybe just before I was born, but they're still relevant. That value, man, if I can't point out, for lack of better terms, the value in the VectorVest value indicator, it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. All right. Let's see here. Let me switch over to screen capture. But yes, let me go to portfolio here. You can see my picks. I got Glenn's picks here as well. Undervalued play on earnings is a good idea. Reasonable. Yes, especially we saw how the overvalued picks work. Oracle and Broadcom. No. I was on a shift last night. I'm a paramedic and was waiting for MU earnings. I was like, nobody is allowed to get hurt. I need to see earnings. That's awesome. Does Qualcomm have a unusual candlestick engulfing something? We'll take a look at it. 12 James. Remind me of that one. $7,000 profit played with 21K. Whew, that was a gamble. The gamble paid off. Hey. Oh, this one. Bill, you did the right thing. Cara Blue, thank you for your service. That's awesome that you're a paramedic, by the way. All of our first responders. Thank you. All right, let me clear out of this. Let's go back to the homepage. Let's talk about today. Market enthused, right? Market is enthused right now. Don't get too oversold on it. The only reason why I'm really happy, Micron obviously delivered, right? No surprise there. We'll look at the earnings results. I have an article for that. But the inflation report, think about the estimates of this delayed, last month's delayed report. They're around 3.1%, right? Core 2.6. CPI general 2.7%. That dropped, right? We didn't want it over 3%. No. That's not good, especially the unemployment numbers. And I mentioned that in tonight's video. So I just want to, again, be careful right now. Confirm call is down. We got 3 yellow lights. Color guard is neutral. So let's take a look at what is moving the market right now. First thing, Inflation report. November consumer prices rose 2.7 annual rate, lower than expectations. The expectations were scary, right? 3.1%. Hard to justify interest rate cuts getting over 3%, right? Japan trade tomorrow. I haven't looked at the Japan bond rates today, to be honest. It's fallen. Okay. MU plus CPI equals good market today. Keyword today. Ali G, I have to take a look at that Japan trade. Bill, don't you look at Japan bonds? I haven't looked at them today. Let me know your input on that by chance, or any other input on the Japan trade, because that Japan carry trade, those interest rates have affected the market in various ways in 2025, and that could easily carry into 2026, right? But hey, consumer prices less than expected. That is good for the market right now. We needed that, especially after that unemployment data. What was it, 4.6 it ticked up to? I like this. This is good. This is good. Oh, what? Look at this. Signs executive order reclassifying pot. What did I tell you? All the pot stocks, when we did the video, soared. I said, wait for the dust to settle. They came crashing down. And then here's the news we're waiting for, and they're probably all soaring. I'm not even going to look at it, but you can see the headline right there. If you play pot stocks, that's on you, obviously. Very aggressive in nature. I know a lot of people do play those for swing trading. But reclassifying it, yeah, we'll see what happens there. All right, next up, this is the other reason why the market's doing good, right? Ali G says, I sold MU. MU is falling now, preparing for Japan trade. Let me tell y'all, you want to watch tonight's video on Micron. And I didn't fill my entire Micron position. Actually, even Glenn's, I did him, a favor. I think it was less filled than mine. There's good and bad. Fundamentally, the earnings, everything looks good for Micron. Technically, there's some very interesting things on the chart. And I addressed those. Very simple. Very simple. MU is long. I sold my call options. But I still like it. Tilray, I bet it's flying. All the pot stocks are probably going out of control right now with that headline coming across the top. But look at this. Micron pops 12% memory demands. We are more than sold. I'm telling you. High bandwidth memory devices, right? Let's see here. The company said it expects total addressable market for high bandwidth $100 billion by 2028, growing at a 40% compound annual rate. What? They're building the largest investment project in New York State history right now, right? It was like $100 billion. Who knows what the final cost will be? But it's over the next decade or two. And this company is so well positioned, and obviously, America wants, it's smart to have this, this manufacturing stateside. Yeah, they're in an excellent position. Excellent position. If it pulls back, based off the chart patterns, hey, that's just the technical traders. The Japan carry trade, obviously might give you some discounts, but the long haul here, Micron looks phenomenal. Here's another stock we talked about, CoreWeave. Look at this person. Enough is enough. Strong buy on this position, right? What does that sound like to me? It almost sounds like my iron story, right? Enough is enough. We're getting close to our valuation. So I did, in the portfolio in 2026, I did load up, I think it was about a third, 30% of my position. Again, these are going to be even positions. You're looking at about $10,000 a position. Right now, I got about $3,000 in iron. I think it was like $34, $35. Hey, I'm okay with that. And if it drops some more, like I said, I've been looking around $30. I only got 3 weeks to fill these positions. Figure I'd start entering some of them today. So either I'm going to, fill them up on some, good pivot points, or I'll fill them up on, some momentum over the next 3 weeks, just depending on what the market goes. Sounds like the analyst wants to dump their CoreWeave, right? CoreWeave is upgraded to a strong buy after 40% stock decline, citing overblown concerns, right? Faces near-term data center delays and profitability measures, but demands remain exponentially robust and evidenced by a $55 billion revenue backlog. That backlog's phenomenal. Can you give advice on Broadcom? We can take a look at it. I'm buying AMY, Iron, CoreWeave, NBS. Enough is enough. Yeah, be careful on some of those for sure. I got CoreWeave. I got Nibius in the list here. I like CoreWeave. I do. But it's still a little early in my opinion. Even though Iron, I know it hit the low of, $33 yesterday, somewhere in there. Pretty close to my target, and honestly, not far from our valuation in VectorVest. And in being an AI data center company, if you're close to our VectorVest valuation, that's, in my opinion, is a good move, right? let's see here. Looking at NBS and iron. But yeah, that's just, pretty much the same argument I'm making for iron, right? But we're going to look at it. We're going to look at CoreWeave. I don't know if it's quite a buy in my opinion, but we'll take a look at it in just a moment. Again, all of these stocks are selling off. So any buys you do, that's aggressive. Some of these stocks are very speculative in nature. So be honest about it. You got UAM1 and iron, but didn't see video for that. Oh, I already did those videos. OLG, they got their own video. And let's be honest, I'm looking at UAMY leap options right now. There's only one in 2028. It was the $5 strike yesterday. I think it was around $2 and some change. That might break even. 7 and some change on a leap on UAMY. What? 28? You got about 2 years? Yeah, I'm going to scoop that one up soon. I'll let you know when I do. I've just been doing videos this morning. But other than that, this thing, yeah, TSM. TSM I did a video on. I think was that a solo video? Yeah, that was a core holding. That was right after I did iron UAMY. I wanted a core holding in that portfolio. It just made sense. All right, this next position, please do not put anything political in the comment section. You'll see where I'm going. Trump Media, right? DJT. And VectorVest is DJT /. Thing was up like what? That was up 40%. The article says 33%. This is what it's all about. And I see this as a game changer. Not even this company. I've talked about this before. How technology can change and you better be ready for it, right? Fusion. That's why the stock is up right now. I don't care about the politics, but I care about the fusion. And more importantly, I care about this right here. This TAE Technologies. Might want to write that one down. Because if they do figure this out, that is pretty much nuclear energy without the nuclear part, right? A lot of people have been doing it for decades, right? A lot of money's gone down the drain when it comes to fusion technology, but AI, quantum around the corner. I'm not gonna, write off fusion technology. Sorry, Ryan, I joined late. Well, you show the 2026 picks in this show are already presented. I gave like a little hint, sneak peek. You didn't really see much, to be honest with you, Coro, but tonight's presentation, all about the picks. We got all Glenn's picks in there. And I'll let you know I did start buying in some of those portfolios. I'll show the portfolio at the end of this one, right? Glenn's, I'll flash it. I'll flash it if you stick till the end. But his picks were good. And then tonight, he will show picks tonight, not now. He did not do it. Joey gave me his picks, so I had to break them down. I'm still in the works. If we can get Glenn to do a video under a live stream, I'm here for it. But me personally, his health comes first. That's all that matters. His health comes first. TA and Helion are infusionary Helion. Oh, yeah, you, Percy, you see where I'm going with this. Yeah, I don't care about the DJT. If you want to trade that, we'll talk about the DJT in a minute because I actually did use it as an example to compare to an IPO that occurred yesterday, right? But look at this, top fusion companies. That was the question I asked Google, right? Commonwealth, CFS, a leader. Look, backed by MIT, Google, right? Helion Energy. I did some other research. This company pops up everywhere. This Helion, the ZAP, this TAE here. ZAP, developing shared flow, stabilize, fusion, voiding magnets. Let's see here. TAE Technologies, the longest running private fusion company, pursuing a beam-driven FRC. Now, I don't know what that is. That sounds pretty technical, right? Here's some other ones. But this is where it comes down to. So you can see TAE, main player, Helion, ZAP. Keep those in mind. Look where we move over here. Top 5 stocks, right? And yes, I'm probably going to do a fusion video here in the near future. This is interesting. Like Google, subsidiary of Alphabet, has a long-standing collaboration with a private fusion company, TAE, right? So if you want exposure to them, obviously DJT's got half of the exposure. Politics aside. And we'll see what happens with that. But Chevron as well. Look, again, TAE, ZAP Energy. This is what I thought was interesting. His little steel guy, Nucor, this steel maker announced a collaboration with private fusion startup Helion Energy, or Helion, in 2023 with the goal of potentially using fusion for its steel production processes. Actually, let me scoot me back over here. I forgot I was over there. All right, there we go. See me floating around. Microsoft as well. Look at this, Helion Energy. Eni, this is an Italian energy company, right? So these are some fusion players, right? You see some big names in here. I don't know who's going to win the fusion race. I'm going to do some research, do a video. But I think this should be on your radar in 2026. What are we talking about right now? What's the biggest problem with AI? Bottleneck of energy. What's our biggest problem with competing with China? Energy. I mean, I could see this as one of those, just creative ways to try to solve a problem, right? We'll see what happens. But I would put some of these stocks potentially on your radar, right? Just put it on your radar potentially. All right, let's get out of here. Let's go back to the software. Dow Jones up 117, NASDAQ holding 334. Leading the charge. No surprise. Micron, soft inflation data. I like it. I like it a lot here. All right, let's jump into it. All right, first up, should we start with Micron? Let's start with Micron. Of course, I put Broadcom here. I put Oracle here. My whole argument why Micron looks so good going on earnings. I even said this about Broadcom and Oracle. The reason why they look so bad going on earnings, the valuation. This overvalued numbers, this ratio here was a lot worse prior to their earnings, right? Well, if you're holding it, if you follow them, they've been trending back. Micron on the upcharge here. Look at the valuation, just topped $400. Monster of a stock. RV highest in the list. Safety just behind Broadcom. Timing, unless you're trying to buy the bottom, the timing's a lot better, right? If you've been holding through this, just stay disciplined. Forecasted data, they're all good. They're all good. Did the value just go up on Micron? Nah. Well, it went up a little bit since yesterday. Let's look at the graph here. We can see it. Boo, boo, boo. Move this around. All right, there's Micron. Like Micron just don't stop. That value is just on a march higher. So, I love you guys to death. This is what I'm watching out for. What is this? A lot of resistance at this level here, right? A lot of resistance at this level. So just be careful. A lot of indecision here. We talked about the cup and handle chart pattern. Did that in last night's video as well. Came to fruition. The target right here in this zone. So that's why I just loaded up on some for me and Glenn. I only have 3 weeks. Don't make all of these. That was key, Ryan, it turns out. Did the value just go up a Micron? What was key, Ology? Valuation going in earnings. Thank you. Thank you, bud. I learned from Glenn. I learned from Dr. Toledo. I didn't, make up this strategy myself. That's for sure. But it is just a phenomenal powerhouse stock, right? Every time it's hit this level, it's came back. We'll see what happens here. Either I'm going to buy on some key pivots over the next 3 weeks to load up on this, or I'm going to buy into strength. But I have entered both of us, Glenn and I, at least partially, into Micron already. But if it does break below this, just be careful. We got a gap fill. This could turn into a triple top right after hitting the target point of a cup and handle formation, the symmetry of it, right? I've told you, I'll tell you, but I've talked about it before, the symmetry pattern from that cup and handle coming to fruition here. I saw Micron show up on Market Surge last year, and they were looking at huge numbers for this year. I have to fund companies today that looked like MU years ago. A high sales growth rate, rising sales growth rate, rising earnings growth rate. And Micron, if we look at Micron here, look at this. It's just been on a run. Earnings per share has been moving. Value just keeps climbing. Yeah, Micron, does a little sideways action like we did here. Either you either ride it out, right, or try to time it using VectorVest. But that being said, we're kind of moving the sideways here. We don't get anything crazy like the Japan carry trade. Watch those bond rates because obviously that'll affect some tech stocks. But yeah, we're seeing indecision right in this channel here, or right in this zone, resistance zone. So I'm not going to be purchasing any more of Micron at least till we get some confirmation to the upside here. But yeah, just keep that on your mind. Let's see here. Let's get rid of this one. Ryan, is UAMY ready to buy or we wait? What is your buy point, please? Remind me, Ali G. We can talk about UAMY. But I've talked about the bottom of that channel. What have we been approaching, right? I did, again, purchase a little bit of the UAMY in the portfolio here, the 2026 portfolio. But don't make financial decisions based on that because I only have 3 weeks to fill these positions. By this end of the second week, me and Glenn's portfolios will both be filled. And I've only done 5 stocks so far as videos. So those are the only ones that I actually have purchased so far. Once I release them, I'll purchase the stocks. But this is them. Netflix and Micron is what I share with Glenn. Those are the 2 stocks we share together. MU is run by a genius CEO, and No hype, just work. UMY falling under 200-day. It's dead to me. That's fine. That's fine, because I'm playing the pivot, because I think the 200-day would be a trap for those people that are going to say it's dead. Because I haven't made decisions based on the 200-day. Every decision I've made on UAMY has been based on that ascending channel. Right now, if it breaks that ascending channel, hey, we'll take a look at UMY. We'll take a look at it. Are you going to add more defin? I'll be honest with you. Glenn did not have defin in there. Glenn did not have defin. Iron is a super poopiosity stock now. Well, depending on how you look at it. John. I know I would say Iron would be a really poopy stock at 60 or 70 bucks, 40, 50, but low 30s. It's got my attention, especially with the value. And that's not going off the hype. That's going off VectorVest value here and off a nice pivot point as well. Let's see your Micron, Broadcom, Oracle. You got that point. So let's take a look at these guys. Any options on opinions on Palantir? We'll take a look at Palantir. Let's see your Iron. Immune. Didn't NVIDIA jump day after earnings and drop afterwards? MU follow the trend. Interesting. Again, I'm not really seeing the conviction in Micron at all. I mean, Micron just got jumped up right into resistance and is yet to move. That's all Micron has done right now. As far as the earnings report, it's phenomenal. But as far as price action right now, I don't see any confirmation to the upside. We're still within, the range bound motion that we have seen with Micron recently. So we'll see. All right, these are the stocks I got for you today. I got Google, Microsoft. Medline was the IPO yesterday. Said it. Look at the value on that. $43, right? The reason why I added this one to the list, because the DJT, this stock was way overvalued, and it's IPO. I mean, it's more of an IPO example than anything. What is buy point for Netflix? Ollie G, you better watch that video last night, because I specifically explained it. And we'll go over more to that in the future, but I'm not going to say a buy point, but definitely some areas that should have your attention if you're interested in Netflix at a fair value or potentially undervalued going forward. All right, but as far as these, Apple, Google, Microsoft, these are going to have exposure to, TAE and some of those other fusion companies here. Medline, it's the IPO from yesterday. Nucor, the steel company that's got partnership with Fusion. They've got big ambitions, trying to power some of their steel facilities, manufacturing facilities, smelters. I imagine probably use a lot of power, so that would make sense why they're interested. AnySpa, this is an energy company out of Italy, from what I've seen, that has some partnerships with the Fusion. Chevron, obviously, they got their hands just about any kind of energy out there. Iron. This is going to be the data. Let's see here. NBIS, the AI overvalued play. You see the AI stocks moving to the upside right now, but look at the valuations. Way overvalued still. Extremely overvalued. I'm still not that interested in at 67 bucks, to be honest. Nibius, way overvalued. Iron, it's the only one even close to its valuation. Look at the ratio here, 0.66, right? They got strong sales. They're feeling the pressure right now. No surprise. Let's go over here to the right. Let's see what these look like. Kind of all over the place. What's this Enri Spa? No. Medline looks pretty good, though. I can't lie. Medline looks pretty good. Let's graph these right quick. What? ISSC just jumped? Why did it jump? Uper? They jumped 30%. That's an old top VST pick. That's it's been quite a few videos probably over the last year and a half as it's has came and gone. It's one of the top VectorVest picks here. That's awesome. I like to see that here. But yeah, as far as these picks, let's see if there's any opportunities here. Let's take a look at Google. Google going right back to the consolidation point here. You can see actually looks like it tried to find support there. There it is. Actually just shy of it. Look at that. I'm not quite sold. It's still overvalued. I want to be loading up on Google right now, that's for sure. Great company overall. I mean, value's rising earnings per share. Growth rate is faltering, but I mean, it's a multi-trillion-dollar company, and it's still got 17%. Nice. ISSE is pulling back. Okay. Good to know. I'll take a look at the market here in just a few. Here's Microsoft. Just be careful. If we take out this swing low, we could break my support level. We got a big gap to fill here. Look at the value going right into that area as well. RT down. Earnings per share. I'm not going to be a buyer of it until we could take out these prior swing highs. You can see the resistance coming in on Microsoft here. Now, if we can take that out, I'd be a little bit more confident on the upside. But if we break this, I'm going to look for value opportunities in Microsoft. And it's been a while since we've had some value opportunities here with Microsoft. So it might be another one you want to put on your radar in 2026. All right, here's Medlin. Let's see here. Oh, no. So the value, if we use a date line here. Value yesterday was 49. Value today, 43. Just be careful. Value is dropping. Value is dropping. Growth rate's 19%. You're just not getting quite the... we're hitting fair value territory here. But a lot of this is going to be market related. Still getting a fair deal. Again, there's not much data or technicals to go off here. But from a value perspective, yes. Just be careful. Be disciplined. See what the third candlestick gives us. If it's to the upside, I don't know what your goal was with this position, but if it's just a short term, try to make some money real quick and then exit. Maybe just connect the bottoms of these candlesticks. Have a nice trend line. If it breaks it, who knows what's going to happen, right? Stay disciplined. If it stays above it, where you want to take profits or mitigate losses, that's ultimately up to you. But me personally, if I was in this and I didn't have many candlesticks to work with, just take a little trend line. Boom, boom, boom. Stay above it, right? Stay above the trend. Don't want to go below the trend because there's not much to work with. And we go below, yes, it could bring some value opportunities, but it could feel some pain in the meantime. So, but wait for some more candlesticks if you haven't already jumped into that one. Here's Nucor. Let's go to 1 year. Just trading at a premium. That's all. I like value. Oh, that value is rising. Earnings per share is rising. Growth rate. The negatives, let's go in the right direction. I'm not sold on it. I'm not sold on that one. Here's AnySpa. Had some value here. Earnings per share is dropping. Growth rate's dropping. Hard to get ambitious about this one as well. And it's pretty gappy. Just be careful. Like I said, I'll do a fusion video. These are just some quick, stocks that have some exposure to fusion. Petroleum, that's very overvalued for petroleum coming in. It doesn't do much. So unless they're paying a decent dividend, let's go to 5-year chart. Look, the value is rocking and rolling. But falling oil prices, petroleum under pressure. Yeah, I can see why they're going to alternative energies for sure. I'm not liking the chart. I mean, that's a clear just roll over here, almost channel-like, just connecting the tops and the bottoms. Very range bound on that rollover, and it's playing it to a T. So just be careful. We're kind of on the top of that range. I could see more downside potential. Here's iron. All right, so this stock, literally talked about before, this level I'm looking at around $29. This pivot here. If I had to guess, I don't like to guess, but we probably retest this channel from the bottom. Hopefully get rejection to get down to where I need to go. And again, I only have 3 weeks to fill this position. So I went ahead and just took a little nibble in it already. We'll see how it goes. But the RT's so suppressed right now, unless you're disciplined, and unless this is very aggressive, very speculative in nature. The only thing I see as far as optimism, I mean, look how overvalued some of these companies have became, but it's approaching our valuation. I like it. Now if you had some patience, clearly I probably treat this like a zone almost. Yeah, that'll put us, the bottom of that zone's right in our valuation. So yeah, the momentum's to the downside, but it could bring some value opportunities. Because I imagine, once the market finds out the iron, kind of getting mispriced compared to some of those other AI names we saw, and if we get some undervalue opportunities, I like it. And I would not be surprised if I, took an action in my, real money. Ryan is taking nibbling EOSity positions. Well, John, think about it. Me and Glenn, we got to fill these positions. This is 2026 stock. So the goal is, see their performance over 2026. So I just kind of made a rule, just, they all got to be filled by the second week of January. So we'll see how it goes. But as far as iron, I'd look more in there. Here's DJT. This is the point I want to make about DJT. Instead of Medline, if we go to 5 years here, see how the IPO, and a lot of these IPOs do this, not just Trump media, but a lot of them do it. They just come out way overvalued. A lot of it's technical, a lot of it's traders, but now, they are merging to each other. Medline just looked a lot better because it started out of the gate undervalued, right? So that's kind of the point I'm trying to make there. That valuation is very important. TSLA, do you have in your 2026 portfolio Tesla? I do not. DJT, bad joke stock. Oh, dear. Oh, look at this Nibius. Nibius, trouble. Trouble. That's all I'm going to say. Look for the value. The value's not climbing like iron. It's an ascending channel. We talked about it before. If you don't take your profits on the parabolic move, on the breakout to the upside of the channel, especially an overvalued AI stock with falling earnings, I don't know what to tell you. But it just broke the channel. And you see all my little lines down here. And the first line's at $64. Right now we're at 78. So no, I'm not going to be bullish at all. I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you. Not going to sugarcoat it for you at all. What about Poet tomorrow? Remind me about Poet. Remind me about APLD. Oh, and today we're going off the likes. So you better hit that like button. And I'll try to get as many stocks as we can here. But go ahead and hit that like button. But this, yeah, I'm not going to catch that one. That's not even in my 2026 list. CoreWeave, way overvalued. I mean, it still looks like it's in the descending channel here. Trying to recatch it right now. That's my last level support. Again, this was the trade, right? We did the pivot. Was this weekly? No, let's go to 6 month. There we go. There it is, right? We talked about this. I even said on the live stream, set an alert when it gets closer to here. There's the pivot. Went from what, $63 around as a low, the high around 90. Right? So you get about 50% gain to play with. And now you're probably around break even. Stay disciplined. I'm not going to be bullish on it. I hate to tell you. That was the last trade on CoreWeave I've seen. Clear rejection at the prior swing low. Clear rejection, right? Lots of AI stocks don't make money. So yeah, I don't like CoreWeave. I will say don't sleep on CoreWeave just because, it does have some good Microsoft deals. Earnings per share moving the right way. Growth rate earnings, 18%. Just let it keep coming down. Because if it breaks this, I mean, just from a technical perspective, there's not a whole lot of leeway here. And just curious, where is the prior swing low? $33 just about. And our valuation, less than half that, $12.42. Will CoreWeave make a new low in 2026? Let's vote about it. Yes, CoreWeave's going to make a new low. No, CoreWeave's not going to make a new low. I'm just curious. Let's take a poll. Put it in the comments section. Do you think CoreWeave will make a new low? That's below $33. Right now it's at 68. This is in the year 2026. Do you think it'll make a new low? Let's put it in the comments section. Kiwi, yeah. I have a feeling, if it breaks this, look at the bottom of this channel here, right? It's used these lines before. I've seen this before. You get a nice little trend line here. You forget about it to the downside. I don't know. I don't like it, but I'm going to say, yeah. My vote is yes. My vote is we might see potential. Unless value comes into play, the only hope I got for is value if it surpasses that $33 in the near future. But we're just not seeing a jump there. We're just not seeing a jump. Thank you for that, Kara. What does Glenn take on Poet? Ollie G, I don't think Glenn's ever talked about Poet, to be honest. Does anyone remember? Exactly 1 year ago, he proposed Poet. Did he really? The photonics thing? Will Ryan get a CoreWeave hairstyle? No, you didn't, Tabula. No, you didn't. Look at Big Bear AI. I told you guys, the swing trades on here are getting harder and harder. And guess what? It just broke out to the downside. Best case scenario, that value keeps climbing. Price keeps dropping. Good investment opportunities might be on the horizon. Who knows? But earnings per share, it's all over the place. So I'm not going to rely on that. Growth rate earnings is actually on the decline. -6%. Be careful with this one. I've done some videos and it's pretty easy to swing trade over the last few months here. Now, I'd probably short it if I'm going to be bearish on it, if anything. But just be careful. Just be careful with that one. Yeah, Wolf, right? Wolf. Actually, buying put on that might not be a bad idea. Might look at them after the live stream. Not saying I'm doing it, but just, I have to look at them. Makes sense though. Look, it just broke out of it, right? Imagine if you take out this prior swing low, it might just really pick up some momentum. You might try to get a little catch here, a little pivot maybe. And then maybe on that pivot, I might buy the put, but that'd be the play I see right now. But as far as an investment, no, not Big Bear AI. If you're way down there in your dollar cost average, you're not too worried about a pullback. Hey, that's on you. Let's see here. You are ignoring all my stocks. I mean, I haven't gotten to any stocks yet, but we're going to get into them right now. How many likes we got here? Let's see. How do I get over there? I'll let you take over. Oh, yeah, that's what I was looking for. All right, 57 likes. You get 6 stocks. First 6 stocks coming across the comment section right now are the ones that get it. First stock. Let's see here. LLY, Eli Lilly. Oh, wait. I'll put it there. You guys are quick today. Look at that. We might do a second round if we got time. Second round of 6. OKTR, CLS. Octa. Do you mean Octa? Kiwi now? I'm thinking you mean Octa, Coin, Mod, Poet. You talking about sales growth rate 12, James? Probably because Poet's a very small company, so even like one large deal could astronomically increase, their sales or their growth, whichever forecast you're looking at. Normally you see 999 smaller companies, right? Because it just means it's maxed out as far as a percentage space, right? Let's see, I'm in Dash, but that's a good thing, right? It's going in the right direction, maxed out. See your Poet, Mod, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is the first 6 here. All right, let's look at these. As far as valuation, some value. We got Mod as a value play. Poet, way overvalued. Poet, semiconductor. They're trying to do the new thing with semiconductors, right? Photonics, things of that nature. Much more energy efficient. Doesn't produce as much heat. Things of that. So it's a good play, but very speculative, right? VectorVest is going to let us know that RV well below 1, RS well below 1, RT's even struggling right now. So we'll take a look at it. Amir, you missed me again. Amir, I'm sticking to the 6, and we went. Which one did you put it? Let's see here. What are the other ones? You had Palantir in the list. Oh, you had Fix. All right, I'm gonna do another 6 here in just a minute. All right, as far as Eli Lilly, though, it's the only buy-rated stock here. Celestica, sell-rated. Medine, sell-rated as well. A lot of pressure in these. Let's take a look. Eli Lilly. I like that value, moving in the right direction. Earnings per share. I will say, we never got a retest here. You notice that? We never got this retest here. Let's scroll back. Maybe back here. Yeah, we did hit it right at the top of that zone. Very nice. Very nice. I like that. As far as a technical perspective, yeah, Eli Lilly traded at a premium. Look, the stock just did a whole lot of nothing for a while. Value caught up. Actually had an undervalued opportunity here coming off. That was a nice play. I remember that. That was this consolidation here I pointed out. But look at that. I mean, another pivot point. I like it. Earnings per share on the rise, growth rate. It's not an AI company. So, if AI bubble fears come, probably won't, get hit as hard as some of the, general market or, the tech stocks at least. I like everything. I like this. Buy rating, strong buy rating too. Very strong buy rating. Evelyn, Micron, we already covered Micron. We won't be doing that one again. CLS, so don't waste your time on putting Micron in the comment section. I'll take another 6, please. And tonight's video will also be on Micron, and that really goes into some good information. It's from a technical, 2 chart patterns. One that had fruition, one that we're kind of seeing, but not quite in the midst of. CLS just got a sell rating. Now here's my support zone. You can see coming in right at the bottom of that. A lot of pressure. RT just crossed below 1. If this really ramps up to the downside, I'm going to look right here. We got a gap fill. We got a nice pivot here around 232. Right now it's at 269. That will put it back in undervalued territory. And this area here kind of reminds me of this area, right? Undervalued, nice. So if it does come back, but again, our sell rating just went into place today. 262 is a key level. If we take out this prior low here, I would look around 221. I would look around 221. Let's see. I like Lily. It's grown quite a bit for me. Small position, but glad I got it. I do like that, especially this little technical pivot. Undervalued. If I catch a falling knife, I always consider value, like iron. If I can get it undervalued in the next 3 weeks, trust me. Why do you think I fill the whole position? That would be ideal, right? We'll see. UAMY, wait on that one. See, when you line up value with a nice pivot here, a lot of good things can happen. Nothing is guaranteed in life, but from what I've seen, from examples y'all give me and just examples I do, a lot of good things come from that. Let's see here, but I like this down here. I'm really thinking 221, especially since we got some buying pressure yesterday, but we're giving that up today. So be careful. Be careful out there. Here's mod. Value's rising, price is rising. We got a higher low than the prior one. Just be careful. There's some pressure here on price. The stock in general, with value rising and price rising, I like it. Let's just see what this freehand line is doing. It looks like it would put us in a decent trend line here. There we go. Look at that decent trend line. Looks like a trade in the making, right? Oh, hit the wrong one. Literally looks like a trade in the making, right? You see the trend line. You see the pivots off of that. If it breaks the trend line, please stay disciplined. As long as it stays above that trend line and undervalued, I like it. Now, it's a little dangerous, right? Because we could break this. We saw a break in some of those other ones, but those are AI stocks, right? So I still like it, but if it breaks this, just be careful. Rising earnings. What's the forecast? 18% on the earnings growth rate. Very nice. But this could be a trade in the making. If you're not already in it, maybe take out this high for sure. Yesterday's high would be nice. Give me a little more confirmation. Or even this doji here, where this indecision is. That's interesting. Yeah, definitely if it takes above that. That would be the real confirmation we get above this little guy here. Yeah, mod RT below 1. Let's see here. So last time RT was below 1, the only thing that saved it was this trend line, John. So yeah, I'd stay disciplined, but just like last time, it is an aggressive trade right now. And with the market, may not be a trade you want to open up, but the market was a little bit better. Maybe see what this industry is doing, right? Because I know the tech's having trouble right now. A little mixed on the tech. Micron with the good news at least. See what the industry is doing. If the industry looks favorable, might not be a bad pivot. Is that an engulfing pattern? If it was the other way around, but this looks, well, that was kind of short of it. The other way around, is if, because this would have to be bigger than the one prior. Be bigger than the one prior. But again, just very infant, as far as this trade working out. But be careful with that one. Here's Okta. Just overvalued. This is internet software here. Growth rate still at 26%, even though it's falling. Earnings per share is rising. Look at the RT though. Here's a falling knife that you might have some interest in. Look, RT went down way back here on the gap down, around 110 bucks. Stock hit a low below 80. RT down, finally starting to show a little bit of life here right at 1. So the trend, not quite in favor of the bulls, but is starting to show some optimism. Just be careful. Stock typically trades at a premium. Let's just look at the last 5 years. This is why I like value. This is why I like value, right? Look at that. Crashed. But you see the stock historically, just honestly, that premium compared to value, pretty close over the last few years, right? But still overvalued. See here, 1 year, boom, boom, boom. All right. Here's coin. See, it broke my first support, broke this, got rejection from this. No, this is exactly what we don't want to see. This is my line right here. What is it? 211. I've had this here for a while. That stock was at 450 bucks, and now I'm making its way all the way back to that line. Don't fall for hype. Value. Value, value, value. Can't tell you enough. Look at this. This is all hype right here. All this is hype. It's Coinbase. You know, it's crypto. This is actually a fair deal. Now, if we can get that close to value again, it might not be bad. But let's see here. I like this. And look at that. Yeah, if value could keep rising, price drops, we might just be able to get the I don't know if it's the largest anymore. But one of the main crypto brokers at a fair price or potentially undervalued. You know, we'll see. We'll see what happens here. But price pressure is still down. Trend is still down. Value, the trend is up. So hopefully they can, meet somewhere in the middle. And that red line is not far from the middle either. So from a technical perspective, and value can tick up some more. We'll see how the value does. We'll see how the value does. Let's see here. Poet. Look at this. Still above it. Shoulder, head, shoulder. There's the trend line. Be careful with Poet, especially with all the AI talks stuff. I like their company, but just be careful with this. If it breaks this trend line, look at that value. Look at that value. I think talked about it a couple times. As you could tell, it's pretty good swing trading stock. A lot of good swings here. As far as an investment, I'm not there quite yet. I'd be more going off technicals. Thought the idea was to avoid sell rated stocks. Bill, well, Glenn gave some sell recommended stocks. You'll see that this evening. You'll see that. They are saying Greg Biffle died. What? Oh, you're talking about in Statesville? That's what happened? I heard about the plane crash in Statesville. That's not far from here. Wow, that was Greg Biffle. Are you serious? Woo. I've never purchased XRAW. Never would, never will. I think I talked about it once on this channel. And it was a trade setup. It went from like 10 cents up to like 22, 23 cents in a week or two. That was it. Other than that, what? His wife and 2 kids are on board too? I've met them before. A job I used to have back in college was bartending at Charlotte Motor Speedway. So I used to, if you've ever been to the Speedway Club where all the executives and the race team, I've met them all pretty much over the years. Being here in Charlotte, obviously, NASCAR is pretty rooted into the community here. But man, that is sad to hear. I did hear about the plane crash. I did not know who was in it. Man, my prayers go out to their family. Apparently, his wife and 2 kids were on board as well. Oh man! All right, let's not get depressed here. But yeah, Poet, again, stick to the technicals. As long as it stays above this trend line, hey. But right now, I see shoulder, head, shoulder, overvalued. I like the company too. Let's see if we can get some value in 2026. All right, what time is it here? 12:48. Let's do 6 more. Don't put them in yet. I'm going to tell you. All right, right now, put them in. First 6 coming across. These quick draw McGraws. I'm not putting out just who yells out stocks and stuff. I'm not doing that. Too many people in the room, right? Got to try to give everyone a fair chance here. Everyone gets a fair chance. Oh, look at y'all are quick. I like it. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to try to get more than 6. I'm going to try to do more than 6. AM, ANPMF. That's the, is that the Andean? Yeah, there we go. You're on the right track. Ryan, are you and Joey going to cover Urban since they provide you guys clothes? I don't think about Urban Outfitters. No, I got the VectorVest gear on. And mostly I wear a VectorVest shirt here. I don't think I've ever bought anything from Urban Outfitters, honestly. Just to be on, nothing against it. Just not where I typically shop at. But then again, I'm also a guy. I don't like to shop either. SYM. Or at least I don't like to shop. All right. Let's see here. SPL. How many is that? I'm going to try to stop at even 10. Hood will add we'll add hood. And I do apologize if I didn't get to them. If I got a couple more minutes left, I'll add a couple more, and I won't take more. I'll just keep going down this list here. So I started off, or I ended at hood. So the next one would be John's, LQDA, and then so forth, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, that's right. Okay, I'll save that. Perfect. All right. So don't put any more stocks in. I'm going to try to get through these. Let's just go to the charts. How about that? Let's just jump right into it here. Monster. Monster. Look at that upper wick, though. Be careful. You know, silver I treat like gold. I trusted a dip better. I trust a dip in these two, silver and gold, more than I trust in tech. This is the pivot I would look for. 41, prior swing high here. So if it comes back down, pivots off, you know, you want to get in some gold and silver, might not be a bad spot. Otherwise, the momentum's there, rising earnings, rising value. Phenomenal. ISSC, big jump up. Look at this. Rejection right at the beginning of the gap here. Is that the last earnings? That's a really gappy stock during earnings. Look how many gaps. Gap down, gap up, gap down. Gaps all over the place. You've been holding that through earnings? You've been holding that? You've been holding it? Yeah, if you want your own stocks, Green Dean, you did it right. Do the super chat. Man, RT's above 1. I don't like that rejection right at my level here. So it's in the zone pretty much. So I'd rather be the buyer at the bottom of the zone than the top. Right now, we're slightly above the middle. RT's above 1. We got a buy rating, but just be careful. Well, that buy rating came in right before here, and so did RT. That's interesting. Did we ever fill this gap? Well, we got pretty close to filling it. You can see everyone else was looking at that level too, because people started scooping in there before we got to that level. A little consolidation. I like it. You know, I'm not going to be a buyer of it today. Look at the value too. Value starting to rise. Price action. I don't know, maybe. But if you can get in lower to closer to 12 than 15, you know, right now we're at 14. You know, I'd rather try to get, you know, I'm not saying 12 per se, but if you can get in a little bit closer to 12, I want to be mad at it. I'm actually finding that I freeze up when the market drops. I guess I need experience, but I do have stop losses set. Not sure how to get over that reaction. Right now, the DEW is still up as far as I know. Can anyone confirm that? As long as the DEW is still up, and that's one of the reasons why I went ahead and bought some positions in those 2026. The confirmed call is still down, right? So if you're more conservative, if you're not, you know, that familiar with technicals because it's volatile right now, yeah, the sidelines, not necessarily a bad place to be. You know, enjoy your holidays right now. This one still looks good. And you can see the retest. I would say top right here. What is this? Boom. Actually, look at the bottom wick today. Right there. Makes sense. It's Andean. Nothing to be concerned about with precious metals, gold and silver. At least as of right now. Look at this. Look at the value. It was way overvalued. I don't know. Maybe the silver prices are causing that, but why? I don't know. There's just so many undervalued gold and silver mining companies. I don't know if I'd aim for an overvalued one. Stick to the technicals, and right now, technicals look good. I will say, it just looks like just volatility is kind of broadening. If you look here on the bottom end, let's see here. See the volatility just kind of broadening amongst this range. The range is getting bigger and bigger, right? So rather try to get closer in to the bottom of this range as we're playing this channel, or playing this little kind of a channel. Just that's not a channel. What would you call that? What would you call this? I forget. Let's see here. Rising earning. I like it, but just it's closer to the top of this channel. Kind of getting a little parabolic here. It might not even touch this anymore, unless silver just goes up. But that might have been the last touch. I just don't like the overvalued nature of it. Too many undervalued gold and silver companies, right? Here's Wilden, value rise in price, and they're pretty not far from each other in sync. Buy rating in place. Looks like a good steady Eddie. Rising earnings per share. RT letting us know the technicals back in favor of the bulls for the most part. Growth rate in earnings, 29%. I like it. Silver shortage coming. Well, I have seen a lot of things about silver. We talked about it, silver being underpriced. One thing I do like about silver, it's one of the best electrical conductors out there, right? It's also in ballistic missiles. Every time someone drops a bomb, there's silver on there. We're not getting that silver back, unfortunately. There's a lot of good reasons for silver and gold. You know, central banks, you know, whatever it may be, application use, you know, market fears. I still like them. Wilden Group, this just looks like a good steady Eddie, right? Not a bad stock at all. Planet Labs, here's another one. Look at this. Very similar chart pattern, right? Can it sustain? Can we touch the top again? But you see the volatility? Well, it's not as pretty as the other one. The value, it's just gone parabolic here. I got a big upper wick right now. Where I would like to price action stay above is about right here. You know, as long as we stay above there, I'm not going to be too worried about it. If we break this, we got a gap to fill in an overvalued stock. Just a heads up. Here's Qualcomm. Look at this. Value's rising. Price is rising. Value's starting to roll over a little bit because the growth rate. Where's the growth rate? 7%. I like the value here and stuff, but if I look at growth rate, even the sales growth rate, I'd rather just have Micron. I mean, that's just me though. But as far as this stock, let's see your sales growth rate. I wrote my... No, Amir, I'm not ignoring you. I treat everybody with respect here. A lot of people put it in stocks. Let's see here. But as far as this one, yeah, that's my resistance still coming into play. But overall, the trend is up. You know, just be careful with the value starting to slip. It's undervalued here. Sales growth rate's actually declining. But again, why Qualcomm and there's Micron? That's my question. But it's not a bad one. It's not. Just not quite as ideal in some of the forecasted data, some of the others. See here, Hood. Look at the value. Making its way up to $60. The stock was at 160, now at 117. We need to stay above this. Where are we at? Yeah. Oh, look at this little gap fill here. Filled the gap. Came right back. Retested it on top of the swing high here area. But each day, look at this. Not a very pretty reaction. Look at that. Not much of a pivot at all. It's just overvalued. But I'm telling you, if we break this and we get a new swing low, I mean, that value is $60 here. We've seen it time and time again going through these stocks where overvalued stocks typically like to make the way back down in value. Now, if the value here kept jumping up at this trajectory, yeah, it could meet somewhere in the middle, maybe $100. You know, value kept rolling up, price kept coming down. You know, that wouldn't be a bad area. Right now, I wouldn't be buying a buyer of Hood. You can see the sell recommendation there. Price pressure is on this position. Earnings per share on the rise. Growth rate, 44%. Sales growth rate, 99%. Phenomenal stock. I know they're innovating the market once again. Tokenizing, real world assets, stocks being one of them. Like you can buy a Apple stock essentially, but it's just a crypto coin and you can trade it like that. So they're just, they're creative, right? That's why I like Hood. Kind of like I like Netflix, right? That was one of my picks. All right, here's PTGX. Well, we're not going to, the value is just, the value's gone. You got to see what they're doing here. They're biomedical, so probably going to be driven off, test results, news driven, things like that. Earnings per share just went positive. Growth rate on the rise, 21%. Sales growth rate 1. I do like the earnings per share going positive, but the stock is just way overvalued here. I mean, you can just connect these bottoms. You'll see a little trend line here, but the pressure is on. So we just lost the buy rating. But the value, $13. If you're looking for some bottom, let's look in this area. Probably my first area to look for support here. Some prior consolidation. If it breaks that, I mean, it could go down to $60. Who knows? All right, last stock, SYM Symbotic. This thing has been all over the place recently, and just talking about expanding, volatility. Look at this. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. I mean, to the T almost it touches these lines, right? Here we go. You can see right now we're at the bottom, so just be careful with this. I put a little support. Oh. Yeah, just be careful with this one. We're approaching it now. Let's go to a 1 year. There we go, 1 year. Big upper wick today. Sell rating in place. Be careful. RT's below 1. We had some opportunities here. RT was above 1 for quite some time. Looks like a good trade here. Stock was around 22 bucks. RT, I mean, at its high here, 80, 79 and some change. Came back down. Started giving us warning signs. Around $59. So be careful. Be careful with that one. All right, let's go back to the home here. Was it 3 o'clock on the dot? Let's take a look at some charts here. Let's look at VectorVest Composite. We'll do QQQ, and we'll do the Dow Jones. Let's just do. Let's do the 1/100th. Yeah, still above that support level, so not too concerned right now. Qs, clear rejection right here. That's what I don't like to see on the tech. Get rid of this. Yeah, but right here, how about right here, my little resistance zone, you could say. So I'm not going to be too sold on the Qs, at least as far as upside momentum, until we get above this zone. And that's going to be around 613, by the way. 613. Right now, we're just seeing rejection. Just seeing rejection. Here's Dow Jones. I can see we're talking about big upper wick today. Turning around here. This is the 1/100th edition. Let's see here. But overall, upper left. Sorry, lower left, upper right. This stock, Dow Jones doesn't look in trouble at all here. We got steady Eddie. Here, steady Eddie. All right. Yeah, everything's still positive right now. That's good news. Actually, one thing I do want to see. Let's look at the VectorVest. Go back to the VectorVest Composite here. I do want to take a look at our DEW. We're still in a DEW signal. Let's change this to the per trader timing DEW layout. 3 months. That is the Qs. Where is the VectorVest Composite here? So the Qs just went negative. We talked about that over the last few weeks, how some people use this on the Qs. So that's showing bearish measurement as well. Look at that rejection right there. 30-day weighted moving average right there as well. That's what I was saying. I'd wait for, if you're looking for more upside confirmation as far as buying any more positions, I'd get the Qs above, we'll call it 614, or at least above that 30-day weighted moving average here. Now let's go to the VectorVest Composite. Wait, is VectorVest Composite first? There we go. Yeah, we're still in a DEW up signal here. I see the upper wick on the VectorVest Composite, but the DPO is still in positive territory, so that's good. That's good. Ryan, did you buy any puts or call? On what? On what? Dan is a steady Eddie undervalued stock. Nice. Someone just helped me marry you rich, and I'll cut you in for some profits. That's probably one of the best comments I heard today right there. That's a good one. That's funny. Someone just helped me there. All right. On that note, you see where we're at here. I wouldn't be buying too much more, at least as far as the tech, until I see confirmation. But those AI stocks showing pressure. If you want to see some stocks that you potentially should have on your radar in 2026, we got Glenn's picks coming out this evening. In addition to that, you will see how I've already started deploying some of our cash into those positions. But again, put this out there. I only have 3 weeks to fill these positions, right? I've got a little bit of time. So figure I'd start today with Micron's optimism and also that inflation data. That was really good. That was good. Other than that, you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys. What's today? Thursday? I'll see you tomorrow. See you tomorrow. Take care. Bye.